Welcome to Larry's Library. This time we are looking at the Black Science Premier Edition hardcovers, volumes 1 through 3. So the editions I have are the DCBS 10th anniversary hardcovers. These hardcovers, if you haven't seen these before, they're very, very big. They are beautiful volumes. No dust jacket. The art is printed directly on the boards. They are nearly the size of a Dark Horse library. They're almost exactly the same dimensions, maybe a hair shorter, but they're really nice. Nice quality. Had no issues with the build on these. The MSRP on all three are $49.99 each. You can get them right now for $29.99 or less from InStockTrades.com and probably other places, especially if you're willing to take the non-10th anniversary covers, because there's a lot of different, several different cover options on these you can choose from. As I said, the build on them, excellent quality, had no issues, just beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous editions. All of this material is written by fan favorite writer Rick Remender. The art is by Matteo Scalera. So this collects the entire series, issues 1 through 43, and I'll break them down by volume here for you. Volume 1, The Beginner's Guide to Entropy. This collects issues 1 through 16, and it is 472 pages. It's the thickest of the three. Volume 2 is Transcendentalism, is the title, and it collects 17 through 30. It's 400 pages. And Volume 3, the final volume, is A Brief Moment of Clarity, and it collects issues 31 through 43, finishing out the saga, and it is 424 pages. So even though these are collections of single issues, they very much read as if they were intended for this format. And knowing the author, they probably were, because most of his stuff gets collected in these big, beautiful volumes. His 7 to Eternity is like 600 pages. It gets all collected in one volume. I have that. I did a review of that as well. I'll link it up above. Yeah, so it very much reads like these are original graphic novels. And the issue breaks can be treated as chapter breaks. And that's exactly how they're assembled here. And it works great. One of my big complaints, if you've watched much of this channel, you know, is when they have collections of individual issues and then we get the dreaded fill-in artist, or we have a break where there's 5 or 6 different artists, and you know, you end up with this jarring experience as the art styles shift. Well, I'm happy to report this does not happen here. We've got the wonderful art of Matteo Scalera all through the whole thing. Very consistent, very beautiful. And when you have a consistent artist through this much material, it really, really helps the story. It helps bring you along. You start to understand the shorthand of the artist, what he means when he draws something this way or that way. And these visual cues help you immensely and really add to the enjoyment. As far as I'm concerned, this is the way to go. And I know it can't always happen with single issues, especially from the big two. They're under time constraints with publishing and yada, yada, yada. There's various reasons, but I still hate it when it happens, when you have fill-in artists and you don't have that here. And it's wonderful. It really is. Now, speaking of the art, if I could criticize anything about it, I would say that it is more on the cartoony side, which is not my general preference, but I grew to love this guy's art. I mean, probably by about the halfway point in the first volume, I didn't care that it was cartoony, and I was there for it, and I loved it. You might ask, well, what in the world is this about? Well, it's about a lot of things, but mainly it's about parallel universes, parallel worlds, other realities, other dimensions. And I know some people are watching this and like, oh, that's so played out, that's so done to death. You know, for me, yes, it's been done a lot, but it's been done a lot. It's not a new thing. A lot of people look at it as, well, you know, that's Marvel, you know, and this as a concept has been going on for a long, long time, even before comic books. And I'm there for it. I've been interested in this for a very long time. I would say about 8 to 10 years ago, I really did a deep dive on the actual science behind these, the many worlds hypothesis of quantum physics and all that sort of thing. And I did a lot of research, and much of it is beyond my ability to comprehend, of course, because I'm not a scientist, but I really loved learning about it. I learned about the double slit experiment, and that blew my mind, and then that led me down an even larger rabbit hole of quantum theory. And yeah, I'm still fascinated by the subject, and so the plot of this book was right in my wheelhouse. I had to look up a few words. I will admit, one word that I learned from this volume is brain, B-R-A-N-E. I'll show you what that means here, because I'm not going to try to recite it. But I mean, this deals with free will, and simulation hypothesis is touched on a little bit, superposition, all that kind of thing. If you know what those words mean, or you have some idea, then you know, this is going to be for you for sure. And if you don't know, I mean, you're still going to love this probably. If you're into sci-fi, you will love this. Now, that's in very broad strokes what it's about and some of the concepts that are explored here. But I can give you a little brief bit about the plot line. Grant McKay is a scientist, and him and his team, they figure out a way to traverse all of these other dimensions, all of these other universes, the parallel worlds, the mini worlds. And they develop a device called the Pillar that can take them and anyone in the immediate surrounding area of the device to these other planes, these other realms. And he develops these special suits that are supposed to keep them alive because they don't know what kind of atmosphere these other areas are going to have and all that. Got elaborate helmets, and gravity boots are part of it. So he thinks he's thought of everything to survive here, and he inadvertently ends up taking his kids with him. The kids were visiting in the lab that day when somebody set this thing in motion, and they're pulled along, and of course the device is damaged, so they can't control when and where the thing is going to go. They're actually trying to map all of these other planes. His model that he's worked up is that the universe, or rather the Eververse, is like an onion, and all of the surrounding parallel worlds are like the peels, are like the skin of the onion. Kind of hard to explain, but I took my shot, and it's wild. And that is the basic plot, but you have a ton of really, really good character work done here over the course of 43 issues. You get to learn more and more about Grant McKay and his family and his friends and the people he works with. Good and bad are explored. And it's some of the best character work I think I've ever read in a comic book. I think I can say that safely. I mean, before I thought of Rick Remender as a really good writer, but I put him like a couple notches below Jeff Lemire. Well, I was wrong. With this work here, I put him right there with Jeff Lemire. I think he's one of the greatest living comic book writers at this point. I really do. The work he's done here is just amazing. I mean, this series has been around a while, but this is the first time I've read it. And these books have been reprinted several times, and they're still in print, as they should be, because it's fantastic. It really is. Just some awesome character work. I made some notes here. He touches on, like I said, family. Talks about regret. You get all of these things explored in great detail. And the premise here is that the interpretation of the many worlds theory in this work is that every single choice you could possibly make branches reality, and there's a world where you took that choice and things changed. And it could be a subtle change or a tremendous change. And it's great. And of course, there's some tragedy that happens here. He figures out that the Pillar device, as it takes them through these other dimensions, it actually punches a small hole in reality, which causes some disastrous effects. And so his device is actually causing harm to the greater universe, or the Eververse. All of the universes are being damaged by this. And not just his device, but every other instance of him also made a Pillar. And so you could see this could be Swiss cheese after a while. So he has to figure out a way to try to correct the damage he's done. And he pays a hell of a price. The ending is a little bit bittersweet. There is an ending. There is a good conclusion. I mean, good, it's relative. I don't know. It may not be good to you. There's some people that probably would want more of a conclusive ending than what you get here. But considering the greater ramifications of the many worlds theory, I think the ending is maybe the only ending we could get that makes any sense with all of the other high concepts that are presented here. It's a lot. I was hesitant to do this review because I didn't know if I could do it justice. But it really is great. If these concepts are appealing to you at all, and if you love that Matteo Scalera art like I do now, after I'm convinced how great it is at this point, you're going to want to get this. And you can get these books for, like I said, $29.99 or less each. So you can get the entire saga for less than $90. It's a hell of a deal. It really is. And it is a hell of a story. I give this 9 out of 10. And I'm not going to try to rate the individual books. I'm going to count it as a complete work because that's what it is. A stunning, dazzling, colorful, and somewhat depressing at times, but hopeful in other times work. And it is nearly flawless. And if you're into sci-fi, if you're into pulp adventure, with some great character work, then this is for you. And I highly recommend it. Loved it. Hope you like taking a look at some of the beautiful art in these volumes and hearing me ramble on a bit. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'm going to catch you next time.